15 years ago, a bloke won $1.2 million. He grew up with next to nothing, so this was proper life-changing money. Set for life, surely. Today, that same man is broke. He cannot afford to rent a place to live. So his own son had to buy him a house, just so his dad had a roof over his head. $1.2 million. Gone. And here's the thing that should stop you cold. The money was never really the problem. What he did with it was. Because a sudden lump of money does not change who you are. It turns up the volume on who you already were. Careful before, you stay careful. A bit loose with it, look out. And it does the exact same thing to the people around you. It does not create greed, it just reveals it. The brother you never hear from suddenly remembers your number. So the real question is never how much did they win. It was what happened next. And the pattern that shows up again and again is almost boringly simple to spot. The ones who kept it went quiet. The ones who lost it went loud. Same money. Opposite ending. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Let us start with the part nobody warns you about. Picture a couple. Factory jobs their whole lives. Never much spare cash. Then one Saturday, they win $12 million. They do everything right at first. Pay off the house, a new car each, nothing flash. Then they buy a home for each of their 4 kids. Outright, no strings attached. Sounds like a fairy tale, and for about a year it is. Then the kids come back, not for a visit, for more, a bigger car, a deposit, a top up. Mum and dad finally say no. And the moment they say no, the calls stop, the visits stop. 4 kids, handed a house each, no longer speak to their own parents. Read that back. They gave every child a home. And it still was not enough. The money did not make those kids greedy. It just gave the greed somewhere to point. This is the bit your mates never see coming. The second word gets out, you stop being a person. You quietly become a resource. An account with legs. There is always a good cause. A sure thing business your brother-in-law needs backing. A loaner mate swears he will repay. A cousin who is family. So how could you say no? And every single no costs you a relationship. Every yes costs you money you will never see again. That is the real trap. It is not the spending. It is the position it puts you in. Now here is where the spending does its own damage. Picture a tradie who wins $400,000. Not retire forever money, but a proper life-changing amount all the same. First comes the ute he always wanted, financed, flash, badges and all. Then a boat that ends up living on the trailer out the front because a mooring costs too much. Then the thing that really bites. He gets a taste for the win itself. So now it is $300 a week through the local pokies, chasing that same feeling again. A few years on, the $400,000 is gone. The boat is sold. And he is dropping more each week than he ever won, trying to get the lightning back in the bottle. And it is never really about the money for people like that. It is the feeling that one day the world finally went their way. They are not chasing cash. They are chasing that moment. You see it with the big winners too. Quit on the Monday, told the boss where to shove it, sold the house, moved up the coast. 2 years on, marriage strain, savings thin, driving back to look for work. So who actually keeps it? Let us meet the other kind of winner. Same size win. A completely different ending. And the difference starts with one single choice. They tell almost no one. Not the workmates, not the wider family. A partner maybe, and that is genuinely it. The win becomes the best kept secret they will ever hold. Remember that first mad rush when you imagine winning. Who do I tell? Turns out the people who keep the money answer that question with one word. Nobody. There is a bloke who won as part of a work syndicate. Good money, but not private jet money. And he did something that sounds mad. He just kept turning up to work. Bought a mid-range ute, nothing that turned a single head. Took some long service leave. Then quietly bought a big block out on a river, well away from the city prices. Now he spends his days with his kids, cooking up killer barbecues by the water. Same down-to-earth bloke he always was. just with freedom and time and nobody hounding him. Another one, a friendly fella who worked at the local shop, won enough to never work again, vanished for a bit, paid off the mortgage, took a couple of good holidays. Then he came back to the same shop, not because he had to, but because he missed the co-workers and the customers and having somewhere to be. The work gave him meaning. See the pattern running through it. They secured the basics first. They never got greedy. And crucially, they never handed the world a reason to treat them any differently. Now you might be thinking, Bruce, I am never winning Powerball. Fair enough. But here is why this still matters to you. Because a windfall does not only come from a lottery ticket. Take the most common one of all. A parent passes away and once everything settles, an inheritance lands. Might be 50,000, might be 500,000. Money that took a whole lifetime to build. And here is what happens more often than anyone likes to admit. Within a year, it's simply gone. A newer car, a big holiday, a few good weekends, and nothing left to show for it. That is the quiet heartbreak of it. That money was the last thing a parent ever gave. Treat it like found money, and a lifetime of their work can vanish inside a single year. It is the same with a redundancy cheque when a job suddenly ends. The lump sum out of your super the day you finish up. The money from selling a business or downsizing the family home. One day, most Australians hold more cash at once than they ever have before. And the exact same rules apply. The money amplifies who you already are, and it tests whether you have a plan or just a wish. The people who handle it well almost never rush. They sit on it. They tell very few. They deal with the boring admin before the fun stuff, and they change their life slowly. So let us go back to where we started. That bloke who won $1.2 million and ended up with nothing. Broke, in his 60s, needing a roof over his head. Because there is a part of that story I left out. When he won, he did hand some of it around. His kids each got a small slice. One of them, his son, got $20,000. Now, $20,000 is not life-changing money. But that son did the quiet, unflashy thing. He cleared his debts first. Then he learned a trade and slowly built his own business. The father won a fortune and lost every cent of it. The son got a fraction and built something real. Same family, same lucky ticket. Two completely opposite lives. And that is the whole thing in one family. The money was never what changed people. It just turned up the volume on everything, already there. The good and the ugly. All of it, louder. Here is the best news in all of it. You do not need to win anything to use this. That quiet, slow, no one needs to know approach works on any amount of money at all. So whatever lands in your lap one day, big or small, lottery or life, you already know the move. Go quiet, go slow, and let it make your life better, not louder. Quick one before we finish up. Everything here today is general information only. It is not financial, legal, or professional advice. For your own situation, it is always worth getting advice that properly fits you. If this cleared a few things up, do me a favor and give it a like. It genuinely helps this kind of content reach more Australians who need to hear it. Subscribe and turn on notifications so the next one finds you. I will see you in the next one.